All right, so I just picked up this '08 Prius. This thing has 322,000 miles on it, which is a ton. The engine knocks, so I picked it up for $1,000. Body's in actually pretty good shape, and the battery worked and all that. And when I got it home, pulled it off the car dolly, it stopped going into ready mode. And I'm just going to go through everything that I chased because I could not find very much information on this, and I'm sure if I deal with this, and somebody else is going to try and come along with this stuff. So I went through a ton of stuff. So my issue was when I would shift it, so I'd hit the start button and the ready would not come up. And I would go to shift it into drive or reverse. It would only go in park or neutral. First thing that I replaced was the shifter assembly. So I grabbed one from the junkyard, swapped it in, no different, didn't change anything. Next thing I changed was the brake switch. Put a new one in, no change, still nothing. Gated code, gosh, what was the code? I don't remember the first code that I was getting, but it was from everything that I was seeing, it was saying that the hybrid battery was bad. I'm like, okay. So I grabbed a new battery at a junkyard. I'll show you what I got. So this is not the new battery. Actually, this is the new battery. So I went through a bunch of back and forth. This was the battery I got at the junkyard. They said they tested everything, which they did. You can go through and test all of these batteries, which is just a fraction of what's needed to know if this assembly is good or not. And I got this thing. It was 4 hours away from my home. I went up and picked it up, paid $500 for it, got it home, put it in. I was not getting the same codes I was getting, which was correlating to the battery. I was now getting a P3000, 300. So I'm like, what the heck? So now I'm getting a different code than I had gotten originally. So I'm coming back here and looking at everything. And what I ended up finding eventually was this harness. Comes in like that. You can already see it. Look at that plug. So that plug that goes to the ECU. The ECU's in here like this for the hybrid battery. Look at that. This is from the junkyard. So if you end up getting something from the junkyard, be sure you check it out. Like, unplug the plugs. And this thing only has 102,000 miles on it. This unit. This was not a high mileage unit. So check the plugs. This thing was, batteries were good. This was not. So this was scrap. What I ended up doing was a ton of work. So let me tell you everything that I did. So now I had this unit in the car. I took out my harness, my ECU out of my old battery that originally came with the car, put it in here, still was getting the P3000. And then I took out all of these pieces and parts, everything that's in here. I took everything out of the junkyard unit and put everything from my old unit into here. Could not get rid of the P3000. Like, what the heck? So then what I did was, you have all of these little bus bars. These all go along here, right? I took all of them out. These just pop out. These, I took them all to the wire wheel. The bench grounder here, the wire, we just ground it all down. Get them all nice and copper looking again. Obviously this is spinning. Clean them all up. Put them all back in. I put a little bit of film of dielectric grease on all of them. Put them all on. Just a tip, I would start all of these by your fingers when you start them. I did screw up one of these battery packs, by trying to start it with my gun. I was off just a little bit, boogered up the threads, like screwed. So had to take those out, which is easy, but it's just another thing. So just take your time and just start each one with a socket by hand, and then go back and zip them in. Okay. Did that. Clean these up, put those on. I have everything here new from my old unit. I was still getting that P3000. I'm like, what the heck? This thing was I'm just chasing this P3000, could not figure it out. Okay? So I'm like, well, what the heck? I'm not getting the code I was getting originally. I'm getting a new code. So I figured I could put the stuff in from my old unit and get rid of this new code. Not the case. So I ended up taking everything off and putting everything back in my original battery unit. So essentially, my battery unit now that's in there is the one that came with the car. And the only thing different is that all these bus bars are clean. Okay? Put everything in. Now, I was getting a P3004 code. All right, so this is where I was then really struggling because I'm going around in circles. The only stuff I was seeing online was people getting this code saying they were getting this code after they rebuilt the battery, which is what I'd done, and they had left like some of these one of the bus bar nuts loose. Okay, went through, checked all that, still was, they're all tight, still was getting this code. But everybody that was getting these codes online was saying that it was their error, like they had missed something or they left one of these nuts loose or something like that. Okay, came back out here, was looking again and again. What I ended up messing up was very simple. Very simple. I had these two plugs, the white wire and this green wire going to these two, flipped. I had them flipped. That was causing an issue. The other thing that was causing an issue, you have this resistor, this white thing here, okay? This white wire going to that side, I had that going to this side. And then, so I had that one on this side instead of over there. So, a few things. One is, I could not find, it was hard to find a good picture of just like a shot in here of how everything is laid out correctly. Once I put that over there, once I swapped these two, made sure everything else was correct, code went away, ready to light up, shifted, engine started fine, boom, done. Essentially, the only thing that I think that I needed from the beginning was clean all of those bus bars underneath here. You don't need to take the battery out for that. You can do it right in here. Take this cover off. They're all along the side. You're probably going to drop the little screws. Take your time. But these are the things that I learned during this whole process, which is like 2 days of chasing this stuff around. Honestly, this is my first Prius that I've really jacked with. So it was a little bit of a learning curve. Nice thing is, everything really seems to be in here. I haven't messed with anything with the inverter. Nothing under the hood. This has 322,000 miles on it. I got an engine and tranny unit that has 102 that I'm going to swap in. It'll be a good unit. I believe for sure this is a remanufactured battery unit. There's no way that this has 322,000 miles on it. It's so good. And there are some markings on the battery that look like somebody had marked them like intentionally for some reason, like they were being checked or whatever. Few things. I'll just go over everything that I found in here while I was learning. So in this, you got to be sure, obviously, that, so you have, there's some crud in there that I need to get out. But, so you have the main terminals here. This guy here has those two little tabs. Let's see if I focus. Focus. Gonna focus. Can you do it? All right. You can see those two little tabs. Okay. Those two little tabs go into that guy there. Right there. Okay. You see those holes? So this unit goes in. That pivots down. When you push this down, it tells the computer, hey, we're happy, we're locked in, we're good. Okay. When you turn on the power, these are just solenoids. The computer has to see everything happy. It'll switch those solenoids so the power kicks to the other side and goes up to the engine. Powers everything, everything's happy. It's pretty simple. Not sure what that guy is. This is a resistor. Not quite sure what this guy is. Obviously a ground there. But it seems a pretty simple setup. Another issue that I was chasing that wasn't an issue, but kind of is, but not. Apparently these Priuses also have a lot of leakage issues up along these rails, which mine does, because this common issue of this connector here. You can see, let me get my light, sorry about that. You can see that green, the corrosion right there. Okay, so I pulled this guy out just to make sure everything was happy and good, because this was the corroded one, and it is. I had that plugged in with my scan tool. I could activate this fan. Everything worked fine. So my fan is not an issue. That connection is all good, even though it does have corrosion on it. Everything checks out because the fan works upon demand with no issue. So that circuit was fine, but that can also be an issue of causing fault codes. So if you have a scanner that can actuate the battery blower, make sure this battery blower works and functions properly, and clean up these units. I do have to figure out where this crack is and seal it. I am not quite ready to do that yet, but you can see the standing water here on this side, and I got some down there near the battery, so I need to drain that stuff. But simple as that. It took me 2 solid days of chasing this stuff around, maybe more. Today's Sunday. Yeah, I think I did that Friday. It was, yeah, it was a heck of a lot longer than I expected to be messing with this, but it's fine. I know it's good now. Now I can hit the start button, fires right up, it's good. So that P3004, come back, just check all your wires. And for reference, if you've taken this apart and you don't know, you got white on that side, green on this side, white on that side, orange on this side, orange goes to back. That side of the resistor, that white goes to that connector there. There's nothing on that side. Make sure that your plugs, inspect your plugs, especially that orange one down there. This guy down here. Because make sure that that's a good plug. It's not fried, it's not cooked. And I think the first thing you should do, if you have any error codes, is come back here. Simple enough. Just take out all those bus bars. They just pop out. Take them out, clean them up, put a little film of dielectric grease on there, pop them back in, and see what happens. Just do that. Do that, and because that's going to be, whether that fixes your problem initially or not, that's going to rule out future issues. I mean, these are from the junkyard. You can see that these have corrosion on them. I mean, this thing only had 100,000 miles on it. So I don't know when this battery was replaced. This one that came in my car with 322,000 miles on it. But I hope this helps somebody. I'm sure I've been chasing this thing, trying to figure this out. There's not a lot of videos on YouTube. The forums are kind of back and forth, tough to find stuff on. It's a pretty simple circuit. Oh, and it was throwing me for a loop. I was testing all of my battery packs in here. All of them were like a solid 8 volts. Solid 8 volts. These were great all the way through. All the way through. So I'm like, this battery pack is good. Why am I still getting these fault codes? Well, it was my fault. I had those wires backwards. I had that jumper over there. Now with that unit from the junkyard, I had all this stuff in that one. There's a good chance I had some of these wires backwards on that one too. Probably did. Those batteries in that battery pack, they do look better than these ones. They do. These ones have a little bit of corrosion on them. So I'll just keep that battery pack as a spare because these don't last forever. And I'll just have that for when these start dying out. Just simple as that. Maintain that one for a spare. Hope this helps somebody. Good luck. This stuff can be a little frustrating, but just keep poking around, keep figuring it out.